Welcome back to the Olympic Sports Centre Gymnasium here in Changzhou. What a way to get us off in session 2 on semi-finals day. That magnificent match with Kento Momota coming through. Well, it's been rounded up to an hour and 27 minutes, 10 minutes less than the last time those two players met. Well, it was still a thrilling match, Momota coming through in the deciding game. So next up is men's doubles, and Li Junhui and Liu Chen, last year's world champions, are up against this year's world champions. In fact, 3 times world champions in total, Mohamed Hassan and Hendra Setiawan. Well, when we look at the men's doubles draw from quarter-final stage, we can see only 4 different nationalities, because there was 3 pairs from Indonesia, 2 from Malaysia, 2 from Japan, and 1 from China. Both last year's finalists lost before the quarter-final stage, so those were the 2 seeds that departed before the quarter-final. Now, as you can see in semi-finals, 3 pairs from Indonesia, and I can tell you that it's only the 2nd time in the history of Premier Super Series and now World Tour Super 1000 events that 3 men's doubles pairs from the same nation have made it through to the semi-final stage. The only time it happened previously was at the Korean Open of 2012, when there was 3 Korean pairs at the semi-final stage. So it's pretty special this year that at the Super 1000 event here in Changzhou, we have 3 pairs from Indonesia. So the Twin Towers, there they are, as they're nicknamed in the world of badminton. 2 very tall athletes, the 2018 world champions. Young mascots bringing all the players on semi-finals day. They'll do the same again tomorrow. Well, what a sensation Mohamed Hassan and Hendra Setiawan caused when they won their 3rd world title in Basel just last month. This, as you can see, will be the 12th meeting between these 2 pairs. And the last time they met was in the semi-final of the Singapore Open earlier this year. It was only 29 minutes for 21-11, 21-14, won by Hassan and Setiawan. So the toss of the coin, and not quite sure who won the toss there. Morton was listening intently and unfortunately he still couldn't gather what was happening.
No.
No, don't worry, Morton.
Let's see.
The really concerning thing from my point of view was that Mohamed Hassan seemed to be really struggling yesterday after his quarter-final, but we'll come back to that in a minute as we look at Liu Chen. And if you were with us yesterday, he was the man that stepped up to the plate in the quarter-final against Ong and Teo of Malaysia. Played quite brilliantly, the 24-year-old from Beijing. 193 translates into 6'4", currently number 3 in the world ranking, but they spend a total of 10 weeks across 3 different spells as world #1s. Li Junhui is also 24 years of age, born in Anshan City in Liaoning province. 2 finals so far this year. They won the Malaysian Open, lost in the final of Thailand, and they've had a tough battle in the last 2 rounds here in Changzhou. 2 straight games in the first round against teammates He Ji-ting and Tan Chiang, and then against Indonesians Arya Pankaryanira and Santosa. Needed 3 games there, and then in the quarter-final, as I was just mentioning, against Ong and Teo, came from a game down at 22-20, 22-20 in the 2nd and 3rd games, and Liu Chen really did play extremely well in that. So this is the man I'm very concerned about. Mohamed Hassan turned 32 earlier this month, in fact 14 days ago to be precise. Former world #1, he seemed to be stretching his right calf muscle, and I can tell you that he has got that strapped today. Born in Palembang in South Sumatra, he and his partner Hendra Setiawan spent 38 consecutive weeks as world #1. Setiawan 35, in fact he won his 4th world title on his 35th birthday. That was wonderful, wasn't it? Born in Pemalang in central Java, and they have had a terrific year so far. 7 finals from 13 tournaments, in fact 5 finals in the last 8 tournaments. If we look at their path through to today's semi-final, 25 minutes against Atri and Reddy, and then 3 games against Inoue and Kaneko, who reached the final of the event here in Changzhou 2 years ago, and then the quarter-final against number 5 seeds Indo and the left-handed Watanabe. And that was under half an hour as well. That was only 29 minutes. So Setiawan Mahadu from Mauritius is our umpire for this, and Cody Leach from the United States of America is the service judge. Ariona Miranats on the coach's bench for the Indonesians. And Chenchi Chu and her Hambin just arriving for the former world champions.
On my right, Mohammed Hassan, Hendra Setiawan, Indonesia. And on my left, Li Junhui, Liu Chen, China. Mohammed Hassan to serve to Liu Chen, level, play.
So another mouth-watering prospect, the current world champions against the former world champions. Morten, I don't know if you managed to glance across at the end of the Indonesians' quarterfinal against Endo and Watanabe, but Mohammed Hassan looked to be in serious physical distress.
Yeah, but you know, as you rightly pointed out, they won what in 28, 29 minutes. It was unbelievable. It was like a no match.
Yeah.
Despite of that, and of course Hendra Setiawan was playing extremely well to cover for his partner.
Well, my mind goes back to the All England earlier this year when this man, Setiawan, seemed to be only on one leg for the final.
That was enough.
That was enough, yeah, certainly was. Their second All England title, 5 years after their first.
It's not looking good already.
No, and I seriously wondered whether he would actually come onto court. He was struggling with his movement, that's for sure. Of course, we had a situation in the men's singles. We briefly touched on it during our first semi-final this evening, which was Shiyu Chi, clearly not fit enough really to be competitive on court, but he was drawn against a teammate.
Yeah.
So had he withdrawn and retired during the match, he would have got no ranking points.
Yes. So he had to continue.
He had to continue. Whereas Mark Calliot from the Netherlands against Antonsen played 2 rallies, quit, and still gets his ranking points.
Yes, just due to nationality.
Yeah. If you retire against a player or pair from the same country as yourselves, then you don't get any ranking points.
But this is not the case here.
No.
So
No.
They could withdraw.
They could retire, yeah.
I think we have a blood injury here on Mohammed Hassan.
A little graze. Yeah, we can see that. Rules of international sport is that blood injuries must be treated immediately. There'll be a little time out for that to happen. Well, AHSAN and SETIAWAN trying to do something very special here today. Whether they're able to do it or not remains to be seen, but they're trying to reach the final of all 3 Super 1000 events in the same calendar year, which has never happened in the men's doubles before. Look, we only have a 1-year history of
Yeah.
World Tour, don't we?
Yes.
But it would still be very special, wouldn't it?
It would.
Oh, now that stung.
Yeah.
There you are.
No mercy.
Shouldn't have asked for treatment.
No mercy. And it's interesting, have you ever, since they introduced these seating places next to the court, AHSAN, he's always sitting down.
Yeah, it's partly to do with his religion. When he has a drink, he should be sitting. He shouldn't be drinking with his faith.
Okay,
That's why. Yeah,
I was no way with that.
Yeah, I think it's a very good thing that the BWF has instigated these seats because of Muslim athletes that
I was
need to do that. Yes.
Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah, AHSAN is hardly moving. Oh my goodness, the indecision there from Li Junhui.
There's no doubt that Li Junhui is finding it very hard to play against someone that's not moving so well, because he's trying to make the best use of it, but somehow he's very undecided what to do.
It's difficult, isn't it, Morton? Because if you see an opponent that's injured, of course you want to try and move them as much as possible. But if that's not your normal tactics or your normal shot production or instinctive way of playing, then you're playing in an alien way to what you're used to.
And it's really, at the moment, hurting Li Junhui a bit.
Oh my goodness. Did he miss that or did he leave it?
I think he left it.
Oh, it clearly landed in.
Yeah, I would do that. I would flick.
Yeah, except it's gone long. Goes down as a service error. Oh, service fault called. Deemed to be too high. No, it's very difficult for us to tell what 1.15 metres
we've
is.
got no chance in that.
Got no chance. It didn't seem to be any higher than his low serve. But the service judge is in much better position to see than we are. So to the mid-game interval with the former world champions with the 1 point advantage. Well, I'm just thinking ahead to tomorrow and the final, because if the Indonesian pair manage to win this and AHSAN's injury gets worse,
Yes,
then
they
would lose all ranking points, because we know that the opponents in the final will be Indonesian.
Yes.
We don't know which of the two
They would,
Indonesian.
should they get to the final, whatever happens,
Yeah.
they will not retire.
Yeah.
They will not.
Yeah, but then we're faced with a situation as we were with Shiyu Chi, where people were saying he's not trying. He couldn't move.
Yeah, but he's trying the best he can under the circumstances.
But that's not how it necessarily will be perceived by all people watching, which is a shame.
There's no doubt that the Chinese combination is really struggling with the fact that the drift has changed. They played so many out on the back line here.
Go!
He's not hitting anything hard from the back of the court either, is AHSAN.
No, he used to be a very good smasher from the back.
It's just a stunned silence from the fans when the Indonesians win a rally.
But that was the same when Momota won in the final game in the previous match. It was complete silence suddenly.
Always landed in. Your theory about the drift is getting proved time and time again.
It's unbelievable. They just play one good shot after the next.
Oh yes, that's a super shot.
It's really good because there's no doubt that SETIAWAN is covering the centre of the court, trying to cover as much as he can for his partner. And then, of course, he's opening up on his own side.
Yeah. SETIAWAN, master at the front of the court.
16-17.
Doesn't it just show how little movement there is of men's doubles players, that a player that can hardly move, there's so much in the match, it's all revolving around these first three shots of the rally, men's doubles nowadays.
It is. But I also want to say that it emphasized a lot the quality of the shots of SETIAWAN and AHSAN.
Yes.
They have incredible shot production.
Yeah.
The quality of the shots that they play. There's not a pair that can do the same as what they can do. With minimum movement, they're standing there in the right places and they can really play very, very good pressure shots.
Yeah.
Other combinations are playing in other ways, but if you look at the quality of that exact shot they're playing, I don't think you get many that can play it as good as they can.
No. Well, I've been singing the praises of SETIAWAN's reading of the game for many a year.
If you look at SETIAWAN from his backhand, when he's driving it from his backhand side, I don't think anyone is doing it better than him. The drives he's got from the backhand situation is just phenomenal.
Apart from that last one.
But that was because he didn't get there.
Yeah, brilliant. Towards the right hip of AHSAN. Game point opportunity to Lee Junhui and Liu Chen. Yeah, prime example of what you were talking about, the control and the shot production of SETIAWAN. Look at that. So one game point saved, 20 all, extra points required until there's a clear 2-point winning margin.
It's interesting because when it happened to SETIAWAN at the All England in the final, they played the two young Malaysians, Aaron Cha and So Yik. And I can understand that they panicked You know, standing in an All-England final, being so young, the first big one and all that, I can understand the opponent. But here we have former world champions and an established top 3 pair in the world.
So now, game point opportunity to the current world champions. And they convert, surviving a game point opportunity and converting on their first. This is absolutely extraordinary. 18 minutes for the opening game. 22-20. So an extraordinary opening game with Mohamed Hassan and Hendra SETIAWAN. Despite the injury to Hassan, taking that opening game, surviving a game point opportunity before winning 22-20. And one game away from reaching the final of all 3 Super 1000 events this year. Can't be the first to do it because it's already happened earlier today with Zheng Shiwei and Wang Yaxiong on 4 the Grand Slam. Of all 3 titles, they've won the first 2 and they're in the final of this China Open tomorrow.
1 love.
It's out.
What do you say with your coaching hat on, Morten, to a pair like the Chinese pair, who are obviously struggling to just
grasp the situation?
Exactly, because they're obviously thinking themselves, we can't lose to a pair where one of the players is basically on one leg.
No, I think that's what they're thinking.
Yeah, so how do you stop them doing that? What do you say to them to get them back into their normal rhythm?
I'll just say play a normal game. Don't think of where Mohamed Hassan is standing. Just play if you have to play your shot, and that's where SETIAWAN is standing, then just play that shot. And then, of course, I would try to move them as much as possible. You know, play block shot, play fast lifts, move them around. At the moment, it's all these flat exchanges, and the 2 Indonesian players are more or less standing side by side and surviving it.
Yeah. But look at the quality of that.
Yeah, but you have to give them. The quality is so good.
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. Play the block shot, move them. Find the gap. That's out.
And that's going all wide.
Service over. 6-2.
Oh, my goodness me, you don't often see that, do you?
Service over. 3-6. Service over. 7-3.
That's another error. I can't believe it, Morgan. The one thing you have to do when you know an opponent is injured is make them move, make them play the shuttle.
Yes. Sergio, you have to help me. When is the last time a Chinese pair have won the tournament?
When you say the tournament, you mean here in Changzhou?
Yeah, but let's say China Open.
Well, that's going to get very complicated.
Yeah. But it's a long, long time ago, isn't it? So
when
maybe
the BWF put out the World Tour events to tender, the China Masters, which had been staged here in Changzhou since 2008, applied to be a Super 1000 event. And they got that. They were awarded that status. And from what I've heard from BWF staff is that they wanted to keep the China Masters title here in Changzhou. But under the BWF regulations, the biggest prize money event from any country, they must be called the country name Open. So it must be the China Open. But the China Open that's been staged in Fuzhou for a number of years didn't want to lose the China Open status. And that's why we have, this is called the China Open. So it was the China Masters that applied for it to have the 1000 status. And the China in Fuzhou is now called the Fuzhou China Open. So it's very complicated, and whilst we're in the mid-game interval with a 6-point advantage, the thing that I find intriguing is that, of course, one of these two tournaments must only have a 1-year history if you don't think of this as being formally the China Masters tournament.
Yes.
So this, if it takes all the history of who's won before, like Chen Long has won 4 times what was of old under the Super Series,
yes.
the China Open.
Yes.
But he won the China Masters twice, and twice here in Changzhou. And just thinking ahead, of course, Gideon and Sukamolyo have won in Fuzhou 3 consecutive years. No men's doubles pair since the inception of the Super Series and now the World Tour has won the same tournament 4 consecutive times. If they win in Fuzhou in November, do they make history, or have they just won their 2nd Fuzhou China Open?
We're having fun here.
Yeah, it's complicated. So the last pair to win here in Changzhou was the pair on court when they won 4 years ago.
And the last pair to win in Fuzhou.
Never since the Super Series.
Yeah, so that's probably answering a little bit of my question.
13-6.
Because maybe that's playing on their mind.
Maybe, maybe. We've got to get back to this match, Morten. I simply cannot believe what's happening here. I have to be honest.
Service over. 14-7.
I really didn't envisage this, I have to say, when I saw AHSAN at the end of his match yesterday. Well, it's not over yet.
No, a lot of things can still happen.
Yeah. Oh, he's missed it. Oh, yeah, it's miles out. No wonder there's a challenge here. In my opinion, that wasn't even close. Oh, goodness me, how on earth was that called in?
Correction out. Service over. 16-9. Black.
Clever, clever, clever. You've got to hand it to the world champions, haven't you?
Absolutely. I'm gobsmacked. They play really, really well, but I'm gobsmacked of this whole situation.
Yeah.
That's good by Yuchen. Good interception there.
Oh, there's another challenge.
Yes.
Mohammed Hassan challenges. Ball out.
Here we go. Yeah, and they're right again.
Correction in. Service over. 18-10. Left.
No question that time. That was long. But surely Liu Junwei and Liu Yuchen have left it too late. This is a mountain to climb. Oh, a little bit of trickery. That's cheeky.
Yeah, and not only that, the way he controlled it. Proper length.
Service over. 19-11.
Match point opportunities. A whole host of them.
Match point 11.
Only just over the half-hour mark. Oh, that was going out. That certainly has. 22-20, 21-11. Well, there's one or two groans and mutters from the fans around us, and I'm not surprised. That wasn't even hardly a contest in the second game.
Mohammed Hassan and SETIAWAN 22-20, 21-11.
Just 31 minutes. No. Through to an 8th final this year in only their 14th tournament of the year for Mohammed Hassan and Hendra SETIAWAN. And that's how they did it. 22-20, 21-11 in 31 minutes. Extraordinary.